Hey guys, it's Skeleton Kitty here. Welcome back. This is going to be another direct upload because they're just easier to make, especially with my current situation right now. So I haven't recorded in a month, maybe more. And I really want to record tonight, so I decided I would, for this video, just give advice for people who are struggling with mental health. Mental illness, or mental health, because you can struggle with either or. And like advice for people who may be hospitalized for mental health. Oh my god, sorry, I'm stuttering over my words. I'm sorry if you hear any noise. The washing is going right now, and these pipes. I'm in the laundry room in a little storage area because I don't want to disturb anyone while I'm doing this. So yeah, and I'm sorry if I'm awkward. This direct upload. I have nothing scripted like any of my videos. I don't script my videos so far. We'll see in the future. But yeah, so this is gonna be advice based on my own experience from the 2 hospitalizations I've had in the past year. Not this year, but just like in a time frame of a year, as well as my experiences about my mental illness and help with it. So I think I'm gonna start with just the mental health in general and the help and everything. So, and again, I really want to express this. This is based on my experiences, my opinions, and sharing that so that it could potentially be advice to you guys. I'm not speaking for everyone. I'm speaking for myself, and hopefully that can help people, because some people could be in my similar to the situation that I was in, or that I'm currently in, and they could be like, that makes sense. So anyways, so about mental health and getting help for it. So for the longest, okay, I've been struggling with mental illness basically my entire life. Since I started school, since I was like 6, 7 years old. I've been struggling with anxiety and depression and all that pretty much my whole life. And as I said in my video for World Mental Health Day, that I was diagnosed with anxiety, and I showed signs of depression around like 9, 10, 11 years old, around that area of my life. The thing is, I didn't know about what type of anxiety disorder I had until I was in my first year of college. This was February or March of 2016 I discovered actually what anxiety disorder I had, because there are multiple types of anxiety disorders, and I'm not going to go into that. I can do a video about that for a while, but you can Google it. Like, you can Google it, like all the mental illness type things, like all the disorders and illnesses and all that there is. You can Google that, so I don't feel it's necessary to go in it. But I didn't know what anxiety, the kind of anxiety I had, until I was taking a psychology class, which is so relatable to this. But I was taking a psychology class. I'm gonna try not to joke in this video because it is very serious, and it's important. But I use joking and humor as a coping mechanism. So I'm sorry in advance. I hope I don't offend anyone. It's a coping mechanism, but I'm gonna do my best. But I was in my psychology class, and we were doing PowerPoints on mental illnesses, as you would in a psychology class. And then they were going through the different types of anxiety disorders. So they were going through like social anxiety disorder, they were going through obsessive compulsive disorder, just all of those things. And then the slide. the slide that made me think, wait, I think that's what I have. Generalized anxiety disorder. Like, there was a list of, like, what is generalized anxiety disorder, the symptoms and all that, and, like, how it affects your daily life and all that. And I was looking at that and I was like, what? Did you, like, go into my brain, just fish everything out and just shove it in the PowerPoint? That's how it felt. And that's how I discovered that that was the anxiety disorder that I had. Now, it wasn't just based on the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint gave me an idea of maybe this is the kind I have. And it was confirmed when I went to my family doctor and asked about the diagnosis I had. And on the page, it said generalized anxiety disorder. So, yeah. And not knowing what mental illnesses you have and not knowing what you're being medicated for is not good at all. And I have fair bit of mental health issues. I have 6 diagnoses. Six. Anyways. And one of them I just discovered hardly a month ago. It's gonna make a month in a few days. And I've been diagnosed with it for I don't know how long, a year, maybe more. And I'm doing therapy for it right now. But I didn't know that's what I was doing therapy for. But what I'm wanting to say is, if you are getting help or being medicated or anything regarding mental health, please make sure you know what they're medicating you for, what you're getting help for, know about your diagnosis, because it will like just eliminate a lot of suffering and struggling that is really not necessary. And I wish I knew that sooner. I wish I could have told myself that sooner, but I can say it now because I've gone years without knowing exactly what my mental illnesses were. It was just, I have anxiety. And everyone was like, well, I have anxiety too. I'm like, no, you don't understand. I have an anxiety disorder, which affects my day-to-day life. But yeah, just if you're unsure of anything regarding your mental health, go see a doctor, a professional, a psychiatrist, psychologist, therapist. Go see someone. And if you have diagnoses or any diagnosis, I don't know the plural term for a diagnosis. Sorry. If you have any, if you're confused or you're not sure about what your mental health is or what mental illness you have, go ask someone. That will give you knowledge and power over it. And it will reduce a lot of questioning, a lot of struggling and wondering why you feel the way you feel and all that, because then you'll have the answer, you know? But yeah, just reach out, talk to someone if you have any questions, concerns about your mental health, your mental illness, your diagnosis. If you don't know what they are, ask about them. It's your right, it's your brain. It's your chemical imbalances, it's your brain. You have every right to know what you're diagnosed with. And I didn't know about a lot of my diagnoses for quite a while. And like I said, it could have saved me from a lot of struggle. And a lot of confusion. And that's why I want to share this with you guys, because it's important to know what you're dealing with and what you're getting help for and what you're being medicated for, because there are some medications that work for some mental illnesses but not for others and can really screw you up, and no one deserves that. So again, for the third or fourth time I'm saying this. If you have any questions, concerns, you're confused about your mental health, your mental illnesses, whatever diagnosis you have, you don't know what's going on, talk to someone. Please, just talk to someone. Ask them all the questions you need to ask. And hopefully it brings you comfort, because it's your right to know about it. So yeah, that's my first bit of advice, is just know what mental illnesses you have and what you're being treated for, what you're being medicated for, because it just gives you that extra knowledge, and you can help yourself personally with it, with your coping skills and the way you treat yourself, or the way you like function in day-to-day life, and second bit of advice is concerning being admitted to mental hospital. So I've been in 2 mental hospitals. I've been admitted twice. They were both voluntary. The first one was awful. Second one was not so bad. My first mental hospital stay was 8 days. And, I was hospitalized for a reason. They admitted me for a reason. I was in there for a reason. I'm not going to go into detail in this video, maybe another one, but there was a reason behind it. And it was really shitty, but not all hospitals are going to be the same experience, because, like I said, I've been in 2 hospitals in between May 2018 and February 2019, so that's less than a year. That's like an 7 to 9 month period, I don't know. And my second hospital stay, while it was much longer, it was a month. Of course it wasn't pleasant. I was in a hospital. It wasn't pleasant, but it was so much better for me than my first admission. So yeah, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to get hospitalized, go to a mental hospital, because all mental hospitals are bad. They suck, yeah. Mental hospitals suck. But it's what you do with that time that's going to help you. And some mental hospitals just suck. No matter what you do, they just suck. But they're not all like that. My first one, and this is going to be general, the advice I'm going to give for both my stays are just general advice. So my first one, I just felt very unsafe from staff and other patients, and I did not leave my room for nearly 8 days. To the point where a nurse came into my room and told me, you need to get out of your room for at least an hour. And I didn't want to. At all. And honestly, at that point, I didn't want help. I wasn't ready to get help. I hadn't hit rock bottom yet. And some of the things I did in the hospital, I could have made it better for myself, like telling a nurse or someone, even like a security guard, saying that I didn't feel safe. Just telling someone that I didn't feel safe instead of lying my way through it. Don't lie your way through it. It's not going to do you any good. It's not going to do anyone any good. You're just going to get out suffering even more. And my stay there, I lied through the whole thing. I was like, oh my god, I feel so much better. No, I was declining. I declined so much after that stay because I just wanted to get out. And that was very stupid on my part. Don't lie your way through it. Speak to someone. So that's my first bit of advice, is don't lie through it. And again, this is all based on my own experiences. Everyone's experiences are different. My second bit of advice is talk to someone. Find, whether it's a patient, a nurse, a reactivation worker, security guard, someone you feel you can trust and talk to. Whether it's a nurse, like, it's most likely going to be the nurse that's in charge of you that day or that night. Find someone you can talk to when you're having a rough time. Because if you're in the hospital and you're having a rough time, you're gonna have urges. And obviously, you can't fully act upon those urges. You can, but it's very hard to. So, when you're feeling that, talk to someone. It can even just be a phone call to a family member, like saying, hey, I'm really not doing good. I just need to talk and let it out. If you need to cry, fucking cry. I cried a lot while I was in the hospital. Around people, by myself, with my nurse. I just cried. No one's gonna judge you. Everyone's there for a reason. So yeah, just talk to someone. If something's bothering you, if you're feeling safe, or you're just not having, if you're having a bad moment, if you're just not having a good day, find someone you can talk to. There's gonna be someone there. I can't guarantee that, but I can almost, like 95% guarantee that there's going to be someone there that can listen to you, that can help you, and you will feel better. Because it feels so good to let it out rather than keep it in. Because keeping it in hurts so much more than it is to let it out. And when you let it out, if you cry, you cry. It's part of healing. And I still struggle with that myself. But crying is part of letting it go. Letting the pain out. Not letting it go, but like letting the pain out. Well, letting go of the pain. Just letting it out, not letting it consume you. And it's so important to let your feelings out. Third piece of advice. Don't overpack. If you know you're going to be staying in a hospital, or you just have the feeling that you're going to be admitted, like you're going to the emergency room or emergency department, whichever you want to call it. I call it emergency room, that's what we call it here. If you have a feeling that you're going to be admitted, pack lightly. You don't need 7 different shirts and pants and all that. You only need like 2 or 3. They have laundry rooms and you can regularly wash your stuff. And if you don't have clothes, they have like disposable underwear, disposable socks, they have disposable stuff. It's not comfy. It's not flattering. Sorry, I don't want to swear. Who freaking cares if it's flattering or not? No one cares. They're there to get better. And yeah, it's not comfy, but you've got something on your back. But yeah, don't be overloading things that you don't need. I learned that the hard way with my first admission because I just brought like everything, which was not necessary, and that was just an 8-day stay. When I was there at the hospital for a month, I packed very lightly. I had a book, a coloring pencil, a book, a coloring book, like a book to read, a coloring book, coloring pencils. I had a few pairs of socks, a few pairs of underwears, 2 or 3 tops, 2 or 3 bottoms, a bra, and 1 PJ. I think it was like a nightgown or something. And my boyfriend's hoodie. And that was just as like a comfort thing. But I packed very lightly. And whatever I didn't need, whenever my mom came to visit me, whatever I didn't need, or if I did need something, I would ask her to bring it for me. So yeah, pack lightly, and if you don't need something, just give it to the person who's visiting you and they can bring it back. Because they have activities there and all that. It's not many activities, but they keep you busy. You'll spend like 6 hours drawing and not realize that 6 hours have just passed and you've been drawing. It keeps your mind focused. So you can bring other activities, but you can talk to people, you can color, you can do Sudoku, you can do crosswords. There's abundance of books and puzzles. There's TVs, computers. In my case, there was an exercise bike, and like CDs and DVDs of like TV shows and movies, and there was a fucking Wii. Sorry, I just swore. I just said I didn't want to swear, but I swore. But there was a Wii, and they have reactivation workers. They do activities with you. So find ways to keep yourself busy. You don't need a whole bunch of things to bring with you, because you can find things that'll make you busy. And yeah, it does get very boring, but you know, switch it up, and it's going to be boring nonetheless. I mean, it's a mental hospital. Like, you're on a strict, well, kind of strict routine, and you're in a block. You're living in like a cement block. It's going to be boring, but you can find ways to entertain yourself without heavily packing. What else did I want to say? Bring snacks. Depending on your hospital, for both my hospital stays, we were allowed to bring snacks as long as, you know, the packaging or whatever didn't break like safety policy, like metal cans or like glass bottles, or you know, that kind of stuff that you could hurt yourself with. You can bring snacks. Like, they're gonna have snacks there, but you know, you don't always want to eat like 5 bowls of Rice Krispies in one go or whatever. And yeah, and so if you want to bring yourself like a little bit of candies or whatever, do it. No harm in that. And what else? I think that's it. This, again, was all based on my own experiences. Most of my experience, of course, has to do with my most recent hospitalization, which was in February of this year, which was a month-long admission. Oh, another thing. They will ask you when you want to be discharged, or when you're ready to be discharged, or when they think you're ready to be discharged. If you don't think you're ready to be discharged, don't. Stay. When I was my previous hospitalization, my psychiatrist asked me a few times. No hate to my psychiatrist. He was wonderful. Well, my hospital psychiatrist, not my actual psychiatrist, but the one that was at the hospital, that saw me on weekdays. Sorry, I'm getting a little uncomfortable. I'm sitting on cement floor. But he asked me a few times. He said, "So, are you ready to be discharged? You know, you seem to be doing good. Are you ready to be discharged?" I wasn't, because I knew the moment I got out of the hospital, I would go back to everything that put me there. If you don't feel ready to be discharged, don't. I mean, I don't think there's ever going to be a time where you feel 100% ready, but if just the thought of getting discharged scares the living daylights out of you, don't, and talk to someone about it, because there might be a reason behind that. And you're not going to be in there forever. You're going to reach a point where you don't want to be discharged because you're so used to the routine that, yeah, getting out of the hospital, it's going to take you a week or two to get back into everyday life. But every day or every week, depending how long you've been in hospital, you get a little closer to thinking or feeling that you're strong enough to come back out. Don't get out if you don't think you're ready, mentally ready, or physically ready. If you don't feel safe, you know, listen to your gut feeling. If your gut feeling is telling you it's not time yet, then it's not time yet. If your gut feeling is telling you, shit, I'm so sorry, it just slipped. I was holding it on something, and I guess that's in words. I'm just gonna hold it. I'm almost done. Sorry about that. Oh man, and I can't edit that out, so comedy relief, I guess. Anyways, but yeah, if your gut is telling you you're not ready to leave, that's okay. If your gut is telling you maybe another week, that's okay. If your gut is telling you maybe just 2 more days, that's okay. If your gut is telling you I'm ready to be discharged, good for you. Do it. Listen to yourself, because that's what's gonna help you in the long run. And that's why I stayed a month in the hospital because I was not ready to leave. And I was never fully ready to leave, but when I did leave, I was closer to being ready than I was in the first place. Like, I was like, well, I could go, I'm scared to leave, but I can do it. And that's how I got out, was because there's always going to be that fear of leaving. Once you get in, it's scary to get out. But you'll have that feeling of, yeah, I can, I believe I can do this. And if you believe you can do it, you can do it. So this brings this long video to an end. I hope this helps in any way, shape, or form. Because I know mental health is something that should be talked about much more, and taken more seriously, because it does affect people's everyday lives, depending on the severity of the mental illness, what mental illness they have, so that's why I like making videos like this, to share my experience, to let you know you're not alone, because I do feel alone a lot of the time, but I want to be able to help people out who have similar experiences to mine, or who may be going through some things and all that. So I hope this has been helpful. I love you all, and I will see you as soon as possible. Bye.